We all get the general idea that we should be moving more, that sitting at a desk for long periods of time is probably the cause of that irritating ache you always feel in your lower back, and that some mobility work or a little muscle building would probably help you feel better. As someone with a lot of education in the field of exercise science, I can confidently say yes. Starting a consistent and intentional workout routine would probably help you feel a little better. But to actually get to the source of all of our modern aches and pains, we need to dig a little deeper. Let's zoom in here to the level of our cells. We're filled with cells. We're just a collection of cells all put together. Movement is nutrients for our cells. Every move that we make, whether it's a gesture of the hand or a deadlift, causes our cells to move, causes the cells within the muscles that you use to be pulled, to be torqued, to be stretched. And as a result, these cells get improved circulation, they get flooded with fresh oxygen, and they're able to eliminate waste more efficiently. But a lot of us are no longer getting that movement nutrient in the way that we need. We're no longer being the animals that we are. We're not going out and building fires and building shelters and hunting or gathering for our food. We are instead a sedentary culture, sitting in the same chair for 8 to 10 hours a day staring at a computer screen and then sitting on a couch to stare at a TV at night. This idea is best illustrated with the example of a cast. If you break your arm, you have to wear a cast for 6 weeks. And when you get it taken off, the muscles in your arm probably physically look much smaller and you probably feel quite weak. This is because the muscles in your arm haven't been getting the movement nutrient that they're used to, and so they've adapted, they've atrophied. And I know what some of you are thinking, but I exercise. And yes, exercise is fantastic. I have a master's degree in exercise physiology. I'm a strength and conditioning coach. I'm a yoga instructor. I have my own fitness app. Don't get me wrong. I really see the value in exercise. I love exercise. But exercise is only one small piece to this whole movement puzzle. It's only one tiny little 30 to 60 minutes out of your 24-hour day. And usually it's only working a few muscle groups in a very specific way. Katie Bowman has this awesome graphic that has a small little circle that represents exercise and then a much larger circle around it that represents movement. There is so much in the other 23 hours of the day when we're not on our exercise mat that contribute to the health and wellness of our cells and our overall well-being. And that is what we're going to look at today, everything outside of the exercise bubble. And let's just note, this is not a cure-all prescription. This is simply a peek into how I've brought more movement more frequently into my life over the years, and can hopefully serve as some inspiration for how you might make some habit shifts in your life. But there is certainly no one perfect way to do this. One of the best habits for us to establish is to move our body in some sort of way right when we wake up. One of the best ways to do this, attach it to a habit we already have, like brushing our teeth. For years, I was leaving the house at 5 a.m. to coach private clients in New York City, so a quick mobilization of my ankles and hips while brushing my teeth was all I really had time for, but it worked. Life is definitely a little different now with a baby. I would say my movement is not as much of a high priority item when we first wake up. Our day rather usually starts with a diaper change and with a nursing session, but we've fallen into the habit of going outside after breakfast before we all part ways for the day. Our daughter thinks that mom and dad are putting on a show for her. It gets us all outside, and Carson and I feel physically prepped for the day. Win, win, win. We all need to be getting down onto the floor more, at least once a day, every single day. When we were babies, we lived on the floor. The floor was our stomping ground. And then at some point, probably after years of being forced to sit at a desk for 6 to 8 hours a day starting at the age of 5, we lose the ability. Most adults have a lot of trouble getting down onto the ground, and then once they're actually there, they're super uncomfortable. This is quite simply lack of practice. You haven't been giving your body this nutrient, and so it's let the skill go. But gosh, what an easy opportunity to mobilize your ankles, your knees, your hips, your back, and what a gift it will be to get to play with your grandkids on the floor without discomfort. We have had a low dining table for over 7 years now, and it is the perfect way to get us down onto the floor on a daily basis without us having to think about it. Of course, we had some weird comments early on, but now I think our friends think we're cool. Movement breaks are the bread and butter of this quest to fit more movement into your day. They do not need to be fancy. Reach your arms up to the ceiling, fold over your legs, walk to the bathroom, anything will do. I know that I can get sucked into the computer for hours at a time without realizing it, so to combat this, I just continuously set 45-minute timers throughout the day to say, hey, take 30 seconds, shift your position. With a young baby, we're just not really in a phase of life where we're watching a lot of TV right now, but many years ago, this is where the lure of the movement break in our household was born, and I want to pass the wisdom on to you. Whenever an episode ends and Netflix is giving you the little 5-second timer before the next episode begins, jump up, stop the timer, and you gotta just wiggle for a second. We used to sing a little song when we would do this. It's nothing deep, but it was motivating for us. We would just dance and wiggle and say, movement break. It's our movement break. Then you can settle back down for the next episode. And if you want bonus points, you can sit on the floor in front of your couch. The way that I finally established a consistent walking routine was actually by putting it into my calendar. Once I started treating it like a coffee date with a friend, I stopped skipping it. Now, again, the frequency of this habit has ebbed and flowed depending on what my life looks like, but it's always been a staple. When I was super pregnant, I was not going on long walks every day. But now I love taking my daughter outside for a walk, especially when she's fussy. The outdoors just always seems to calm her down. See, babies are smart. They just have this deep knowing that they are a part of the natural world and biologically require outdoor time every day. We adults just need to remember what we've always known. Lastly, don't forget to play. When we're trying to schedule our workouts and figure out what we're going to do for our workouts, and now maybe you're naturally spiraling about how you're possibly going to get down onto the floor and fit your walks into your day, you get the picture. Our relationship to movement can be a slippery slope. Ultimately, we're doing this to feel good and we want to have fun. Kids roam around all over the place and get down onto the floor and squat and bend and twist and do all these things that I'm encouraging us as adults to do, but they're not doing it because they're thinking, oh, I've got to have healthy cells. No, they're doing it because they're being led by fun and by play. They're discovering things and they're awed by things and they're excited to look at new things and learn. That's what we deserve as adults. This is why my app is called The Playground. It's a safe place to help people return home to themselves, to rediscover the tiny human that lives inside them and reestablish a love of movement to last a lifetime. If you'd like to see what we're all about, I actually have a free class linked in the description. I'd love for you to come move with us. But maybe you also try learning something new, like sign up for a dance class or start a pickleball league with your friends, or simply get down onto the floor and play with your kids or grandkids or play with a pet. There are endless ways that we can get moving that are for the fun and joy of life.